Creatives to actually build the business foundation to create the scalable success, to actually build the business, not just work yourself into the ground, because scaling doesn't mean more hours if you do it right. So I work on the business foundations, and I am really excited to be part of the conversation today.
Thank you so much. And Deepak?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. And Tiara, I'm an ex-CPA, by the way, just so
Okay.
you know. And Christine, I live near you, and I love that painting behind you, or that piece of art.
Thank you. You are really close.
Yeah, we are all really close. Yeah, so my name is Deepak Saini. I run Deepak Saini Health. I plan to live to be over 100 plus, healthy. So I help people reverse the effects of aging so they can increase their health span, because it's not necessarily about lifespan, it's about how long you're healthy. And that's what I help people do. So I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you so much. And Erica, are you ready? Oh, she's still on mute right now. But yeah, so
Erica, you're on mute.
I love that.
I will tell you, I have that exact sign, so that means we must be linked to somebody else in our network.
Janine Bolin, probably.
Yes, she's been a speaker on one of
Oh,
my
I know
events.
Janine.
There you go. She's in the room with us.
Yeah, I think she said to give her a second. So you mentioned that you both lived near each other. So where is everyone from?
New Jersey.
Okay.
And I'm in Canada. I'm just outside of Calgary. I'm 20 minutes west of the city, closer to the mountains.
Okay, we are really close, Christine, because I live west of Calgary towards the mountains.
I've been in Edmonton all day today, but I am back home now.
Yeah, okay. Christine will connect afterwards, and we'll get together sometime.
Yeah, sounds great. Look forward to coffee in person, like real life.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. The email has went out to the other individuals, and so they will come in as they are able to. If not, I'll send an email out to them, letting them know that the recording will be available to them on YouTube. So FYI, I just want to let you all know that with Startup Grind, you will, this YouTube will show up for you all, and it helps with your SEO and Startup Grinds as well. And so it will be very much seen, and you will get the exposure that you need and want, okay? What
Erica, can you please tag us and please list our websites? Those are very important when you are speaking. That's what's going to help us, not just our name, but tagging us on LinkedIn, social media, listing our websites, which you should have all of our websites. That would be really great. Thank you.
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you so much for saying that. And that is very helpful for everybody here, right? Whenever we're speaking. So I do have you all's information to tag you as much as possible. That was given to me in that questionnaire. So I will tag you then. Okay. And it looks like people have went off screen. Can you all hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. So I am Erica Kessie. I am the founder of Your Goal Concierge, co-director as well for Startup Grind. And I'm so happy to have Tiara here with me as my co-director. I also say that I am the leader's healer and an escape strategist for those who want to escape into their vision. I'm very excited about that work that I do. And I work with entrepreneurs, especially business leaders who have entrepreneur communities, in helping them to build out what they need to have in order to have successful entrepreneurs in their community. So I have another person coming in to in here, and people will probably trickle in as we are speaking, but we can get right into the panel questions that you all were given. So thank you so much. And Tiara, you're going to take us on the first question.
Absolutely. So the first question is, how has your experience been as an entrepreneur? And let's say, Deepak, would you like to go first?
How's my experience been as an entrepreneur? Whoa, roller coaster ride. Absolutely, yeah. I came from the corporate world. Spent, as I mentioned earlier, maybe I can't remember before or after we started recording. I was CPA, worked in corporate Canada, mostly in the energy industry. So, going out on my own, and I don't know if we'll get time to talk about my backstory. Probably not, but went into this entrepreneurial journey. Probably a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of arrogance, a little bit of cockiness, thinking, oh, I know what to do. I know business. I'm an accountant, et cetera. And it's a totally different game altogether. And I was probably a little bit too stubborn early on to even ask for help. I didn't even know what I didn't know. So it's certainly been a roller coaster ride. And I'm sure the other panelists will say the same as well. You can't be afraid to ask for help in the areas that you need it to move your business forward. And that's something that took me, unfortunately, a little bit too long to learn, but I'm on the right track now, and my business has never been, even post-COVID, my business has never been better. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. And it's certainly been a roller coaster ride, and it always will be. So
that's really good. And I think that's why it's important for us to have panel discussions like this. We are connecting and networking. So if there are people on the call that can provide help and assistance, here we are. And you get to figure out who those people are. Andrea, right?
Andrea, yes, Andrea. It's okay. I love being an entrepreneur. I'm about to celebrate my 5th anniversary in business. And it's something that I really hadn't thought about throughout my career in public relations. And I worked for other people. Their name was on the door, but I did all the work, and I brought in all the new business, and I managed the staff, and I managed all the clients. So I was doing it all, but not reaping the benefits of my name being on the door and the finances that came with that. And so when I had that opportunity to go out on my own 5 years ago, I have never turned back. I'm thrilled with entrepreneurism because I get the job done. I was working. I apologized to anyone. I called them pipsqueaks. They were people that basically punched a clock. They came into work, then they went out a half hour later to get their Starbucks. Then they'd come back in and all gab about what went on the night before. The phones would ring off the hook. I'd say, the phone is ringing. And they'd say, okay, we'll get back to them. Well, we're in public relations. It's either the press calling you or a client. That's who's calling you. You have to pick up the phone. And at the end of the day, they'd leave, and I'd be waiting for information to be able to finalize an interview. And they'd be gone for the day. And I said, you know what? I need to go into business for myself that I get the job done. My clients can count on me. Nothing slips through the cracks. I get it done. And I'm very happy that the business is a solopreneurship. And that's what Andrea Pass Public Relations is all about. So I have wonderful clients. And if we don't jive, it's okay. We don't need to work together. Mm-hmm. But I'm really happy in the entrepreneurial life. There have been a few ups and downs, but for the most part, it was up. And I think that's what's a great feeling. And I look forward to many more years to come.
We love hearing the stories about being up. Okay. We love it. Christine?
I have an interesting story because I didn't know from a young age that I would be an entrepreneur. I had no idea, though, truthfully, that I would have the 3 businesses I have today. And when I started my first business in 2018, I was building it as a side hustle on top of a very big corporate life. I was in the middle of getting married. I was suddenly finding myself a bonus kid. So like getting out of bed, start a business was so not on my plan until a conversation through my network in LinkedIn said, I think you went back to Canada, from someone who was in the UK, and said, you always struck me as wanting to do something for yourself. Would you be open to a conversation? And I was so fascinated that this person from 10 years ago remembered who I was. And that's the impression I left, that I said, yeah, I want to have coffee with you. And it was in that first couple of years of my first business that people kept offering to buy me coffee and buy me a glass of wine or buy me something, said, like, explain to me how you can be having so much on your plate and I still see you not working on the weekends. And I said, well, business is elegantly simple. It's not effortless, but I know exactly what to focus on. And I have a very eclectic career background and education in the world of business. And said, my skill set is pulling the pieces together. And people kept saying, I can see the simplicity when you actually talk about it. but I can't apply it. Would you formally mentor me? And I was like, that's interesting. And they're like, and I'd pay you. And I was like, okay, that's interesting too. And that really gave birth to the business that I have now with Clear Acceleration. And what I would say about the journey of entrepreneurship is opportunity is not where you expect it. But if you're listening, when people say, I would value that, pay attention, because it's where you can create value, is where you will create income, it's where you're going to create fun. And honestly, you will not expect the package that arrives. And you have to be paying attention. And then I love what Deepak said, which is along the way, it was, you have to commit to your own dream because you must be your own engine. And I tell people all the time, when I first had my first thought of getting into business, the big hesitation for me was not could I do it, but could I stay in it? Because I said, you know, I can hit the goal. I was raised in the world of corporate. I can hit the goal, but could I sustain it? And could I build it the way I wanted to? And could I stay in that lane? And so there's been wobbles, but the wobbles have come when I have stopped listening. And whenever I've listened, I've gone, go back to what do you value? And it's gotten way more fun. And opportunity keeps coming in very unexpected places. And it's sitting down, slowing down enough to say, do I want to go play there? And equally saying yes and no. So it's a fascinating story because I just said, I never would have imagined that I would build a whole mentorship business to helping other business to business owners simply stop listening to the bad business advice out there, because there's so much of it from people who don't live in the world of business and will tell you there's one way to create money. I will just tell you right now, there are thousands of ways to create money. Mm-hmm. What's the right way for you? It's simple. Find the 20%. 20% will create 80% of your revenue. Go find that you really want to play in, and then stay in your lane.
I really like that. It's so ironic that you're saying you never imagined it, but then as you talk about it, you make it seem so effortless. Like it's just kind of you flowed into becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's do what you know. Yeah. And sometimes you can't see it, right? And you're like, I just didn't know that was a skill. I'm like, I didn't know you were all struggling. And they're like, huh, really? Like, you building a business an hour a day? And I'm like, no, seriously, an hour a day. And sometimes that is in the lineup of Starbucks. Sometimes it's on the plane. Sometimes it's stopping for 20 minutes between a 3-hour drive. You can do it, but you have to have the discipline and you have to say, I'm my own engine.
But I think if I could chime in on something that you said, is know your lane and stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. And I think with any entrepreneur, you could think that I'll go into business, I'll do all of these things. Well, none of us can do all of these things well. And so to find your lane, what you're good at, and I say, I once tried to dye my own hair. Oh my goodness, the bathroom was a mess. There was hair dye everywhere. I was scrubbing the tiles. I go to the salon, okay? You go to the experts. And when you're looking for press coverage, you're going to go to Andrea Pass Public Relations. You're going to be looking for health tips. You're going to Deepak. You're wanting to know how to scale that business, how to get in your lane. You're going to go to Christine. So knowing your lane is what entrepreneurism is all about. And having an expertise, not, oh, I kind of do this and I kind of do that and I kind of do this. Find out what you do and you do well and stay in your lane.
And build your craft. You know, this is the point. The funny thing about entrepreneurship is just because we're skilled at one thing, we think we'll be skilled at this until we have the rude awakening. Usually it's like, wow, this is not quite what I imagined. But it is, you must build your skill set. And it needs to evolve. Like, entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development journey you will ever be on. Ever.
What is it?
You think you're getting on track, you're like, whoa, out of left field. Did not see that coming.
Well, what does it look like for all three of y'all to build your skill? Christine, you go first because you brought it up. Like, how do you build your skill?
You know, for me, it's very clear. I must be the best example for my clients, which means I invest in my business and I invest in myself. I have a mentor. I pay them for it. I'm also in a mastermind with people who are at a business level further than I am, doing the things that I want to do, which is scale without hours.
Okay.
And that's about value creation. And then the other big thing that's really shifted in the last year is I found a strong community of women that are going to be the change makers. And we have a very, very hard rule. You walk into the room, you must make an ask for help. That's the harder bit. And you must give it. And so they are the group that call me on my own BS and say, you are falling short of your potential. Stop playing so small. And that usually is about my own storyline. But getting in the rooms that disrupt, getting in the rooms that will say, that's a great idea, go do it. And you not hesitating and just like, they'll pull you into it. And investing in having a thinking partner has been really important in my growth and development. And those are the most important non-negotiated expenses, investments in my business.
I like that, needed somebody to call you out on your BS.
Oh yeah, it's very uncomfortable, but that little inner circle, and it has to be, again, we drop our egos at the door, and we're better together when we co-create.
Okay,
So stop thinking you have to do it all yourself. To your point, Deepak, I know you said that, is do it all on your own, and really remember you have to get comfortable asking for what you need and what you want.
Yes, I love
and
that.
they don't let you go until you maybe ask.
Deepak, what about you?
Yeah, it's very similar to what Christine said. So I think number one is whatever your lane is, try and be the best you can. You might not ever be the top, but try and be the top 10% of what your lane is. And I think, back to also to Christine said earlier, sometimes we try and do too much, and just whatever your field is, you can be the public relations for everything. You can be the business coach for everything, but narrow your focus down, to what is your niche, and then go hard and try and be the best at it. So that's number one. And then, also, yes, I really up-leveled once I got my mindset around not only asking for help, but like getting the proper help. And I have, a business coach and mentor that I pay for as well. He calls me on my stuff, and you got to find the right person. I've worked with a number of people, and it took to the third person to find one that we gel philosophically, personality, everything. He calls me on my BS. He swears at me when I make dumb mistakes, whatever. Like, that's fine. I don't mind that. And then, community, and he has a community and other communities that I belong to, and asking for help. And, as much as I like to give back to those who are still on their journey or haven't reached up to where I'm at the same time, I look for people who want to do that for me as well. People, like Christine said, who are doing 2x, 10x what I'm doing as far as impact. It's not necessarily about dollars, but as far as impact, and we all define that for ourselves, and to try and, learn from them as well, and then masterminds and all that stuff. So I think people who are at that, who are upping their game, who are up leveling, who want to make a big impact, realize these things. And like I said earlier, it took me a number of years to figure that out, but since I have, it's been game changer. So people in the know you need help, you need to be part of masterminds, you need accountability, etc.
Okay, so 2 out of 3 say they have people calling them out on their BS. What about you, Andrea?
Well, I do not work with a business coach.
Okay.
I work with lots of networks of people who I've established relationships with. And I think that for me, when someone says, what's your 2-word mantra, it's always been relationships matter. And there are the relationships of people I'm meeting today, right here, that could materialize into something. And there are relationships that people I've known in business for 15, 20 years, or people I haven't seen in a long time who come out of the woodwork again. And by having those good relationships and being able to prove yourself so they know your worth, and so they're going to remember you, and you're going to remember them. It's a give and take in business. And that's a wonderful thing about relationships, because someone will come out of the woodwork and say, Andrea, I met someone who needs your services. And they'll remember, I did a good job. And that's what's important, those relationships. The other thing that's important is education. I learn something new every day, whether it's that I read something, or I attended an interesting lecture, or an interesting networking group where they had a speaker that popped out at me. We can't know it all. So learn a little bit every single day. It's going to help you grow your business. So relationships, education, and realizing what's right for you. What's right for me may not be what's right for you. And I think in each one of us, I had someone say, you should be reaching huge corporations. Been there, done that in my corporate life. I don't want that now. I want to work with entrepreneurs. That's my goal in my business moving forward. So understanding in business what your goal is, and it doesn't have to be what anyone else's goal is. I have people who are scaling down. They want a handful of clients. And I was on a call earlier today that we were saying to people, are you taking a summer sabbatical? Meaning, are you taking off on Fridays and going to the beach? Or are you going, I'm going on a vacation in a week. I'm going down the Jersey Shore. It's going to be loads of fun. But where does that fit into your business? And how can you have it all? And as an entrepreneur, you can have it all. So those are my three things that are really the most important: the relationships, the education, and recognizing how I want my business to run.
I like that, how you want it to run, because a lot of times when we think of entrepreneurship, we think of we're on at all times 24/7, and it's like it's never a break. But at this point, you really are in control of whatever it is because it's your business.
Exactly. And the one thing I did forget to mention, you need to be your own client.
Okay.
I am a client of Andrea Pass Public Relations. If you go out there and Google me, you're going to see places that I was quoted in articles. You're going to see interviews or hear interviews that I participated. If I'm not out there publicizing myself, how can I publicize you? And each person should really be their own client. If you're an accountant, you should be doing the accounting. If you're a health person, a health coach, you should be practicing what you preach. Each one of us has to also be our own client, and therefore we can effectively communicate our message because we're not going to someone else to do that work.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it ourselves. So if you're a social media guru and you hired someone else to do your social media, I don't know. So you should be your own client as well.
This is an interesting one. I just had a podcast about this in my business because I talked about one of the hardest things sometimes is that you can't take your own business advice. It's true. It's one of the biggest blind spots we've got. All of us have it. And said, some of my best nuggets is when I'm helping a client with a strategy and I'm like, I can help you dial that in. And then I always take the next 30 minutes, I block my calendar and then go, should I take my own advice? Because I probably don't do it as well for myself as I do it for them, because my focus is serving and delivering for them. But the nugget always hits me pretty smack upside the head usually, to be honest, that I could do that better for my own business, but it's a blind spot. And so I love that you say, you have to walk your walk. I mean, that's the first rule of authenticity. Can I see you doing what you say you do well? And if not, next.
And you've really, it's hitting the nail on the head. It's understanding what's going to work for you. And how are you going to communicate the message of your expertise as an entrepreneur to other people so that they do want to hire you and use your services? And it's not going to be for everyone. And if, for example, tomorrow you have 10 new clients, can you service them effectively? Because I can't, nor do I want to. I want to know that at the end of a campaign, that someone's hired me for their public relations, they're going to say, I liked working with Andrea. And may I tell a quick little story?
Sure.
I went to a lecture by Mitch Albom. He wrote the book Tuesdays with Maurice, The 7 People You Meet in Heaven. He's a Detroit Free Press reporter and ESPN reporter. I went to this lecture when I was working for a bully boss. And one of the things Mitch Albom said, and I'll paraphrase it here, is at the end of your life, no one's going to remember that you saved a company hundreds of thousands of dollars or that you won an award. At the end of your life, they're going to say, that was a good person. I liked that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that person did this for me or that, but basically they liked me. They really, really liked me. And so you have to put into your life what you want. And that gave me the impetus to get a new job and leave the bully boss. But we all have to realize what is going to make us happy, because at the end of the day, no one's going to look and see, what awards did I win? What book did you write? How many staff members did you have? They're going to say, wow, that person made an impact on my life. And I think all of us want to make an impact on someone.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a one someone or it may be multiple someones, but we want to make an impact, which is why we are entrepreneurs and we are out there doing our area of expertise to help others.
That is so good, because a lot of times I feel like we focus on goals that are on paper. Like we have these bullet points, but we don't really, some people do, but a lot of times people don't think about the impact that they're making on other people just as them being a human and a person themselves. Like, why not be nice and leave a great impression? That's really good. Erica, did you want to go ahead and?
Yes. Yes. Okay. You all said so many amazing things. I'm over here like, oh, yes, this is so great. I'm so happy to have you all here. You all are dropping so many great pearls of wisdom for entrepreneurs, and I appreciate that so much. So let's get into our next question, which is so important to me. And it's important that we discuss this. So I am trained as a licensed professional counselor. So I know when I work with business leaders, entrepreneurs, that part needs to be taken care of. So I want to ask you all, how do you as an entrepreneur, and how are you affected physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in your business and in working and doing and being an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur? So let's do Andrea, Christine, and then Deepak.
Well, there's a lot there, Erica, in all of those areas. But I think emotionally and intellectually, I'm all in, and I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself that I went out, I did this, and I've had a steady stream of clients since I started Andrea Pass Public Relations, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue doing this for who knows how long. And even when I might be at retirement age, I'll probably still do that. So I think that the physical end of it, sometimes something doesn't go right. You're not able to accomplish something for a client in the way that you want to. So of course, then you're just you got that tightness in your belly because how come it didn't work? And it worked for this one and not for that, and everything's not cookie cutter. So I think physically, sometimes you get that feeling. Or you might just be so run down because you've worked so much at something and it's not going in the right direction, or you've worked so hard on something and it is, but you haven't taken a break. So I think that sometimes physically you just poop out and you have to take care of yourself. And I think the emotion and the spirituality comes from your personal life and making that time. I mean, today I took an hour and a half out in the middle of the day. Mom is 85, dad is 90. I picked them up. We went out for lunch. Then I had to run an errand that they needed some help with. And guess what? I came back to my desk. My work was still there. But to me, that emotion of being so blessed that my parents live around the block and they're with me, and a lot of people I know don't have that. I am one lucky lady, and I don't for a minute discount that. And that's part of who I am and who I am in business. So I think that all of those things that you mentioned, Erica, really all combine to make you positive in your entrepreneurial venture and in all of the things that you do in the world. I run a networking group called Access Success Networking. I love it. I bring interesting speakers and people come and they hear the speakers and they learn something and they meet someone. I'm active now in the National Association of Women Business Owners. Wow, blow me away, these women. So there are so many things you can do that add to that wellness in your mind, in your heart, in your gut, in your spirituality, because you are meeting people, learning new things, and enjoying the entrepreneurial spirit. So I hope that answered the question, because there's so many elements to what you said in that category, but I think that's what makes it exciting, and that's what makes me want to I'm one of those people. I'm up at 6:30. My husband and I go out walking every morning. I am showered, dressed, hair, makeup. I'm in a dress right now. I am dressed up 4 days a week. Friday's dress down day, but I am dressed up in front of my computer. I'm never in sweats. I'm never in fuzzy slippers. It is a mindset because I am at work and I am professional. And to me, that's what makes every day. I'm starting my day at 8 in the morning. I'm going. And I can bring it all because I feel good about me. And you have to feel good about you to be able to give back to your clients and others.
Absolutely amazing. Yes. Yes. You set the stage every day in your discipline. That's wonderful. And I could see that in our correspondence with each other. And I love your energy. It's amazing. It's very much similar to mine. And I was like, ooh, she's excited. And I'm excited about it too. So,
and I'm a
so
cross the T, dot the I kind of gal. And I'm sure you've seen that.
Yes, I love it.
Doing this?
Listen, I love it. Christine.
You know, for me, it's always really important to have the life you want. And this is such a big thing when I'm working with my clients. And so when I first started to think about being asked to mentor people, I said, where do I want to get to at the end of my life? And work backwards. And to me, it was, I don't want to miss opportunity. I don't want to have regrets. And so I have a very clear vision that I put on my board, and I remind myself that it happens outside my comfort zone. And I give myself mental pep talks on it about how to show up. And that means playing more. That means celebrating the moment. It means having the courage to have tough conversations. And while I'm a type A driven personality, that doesn't surprise anybody, the key thing to me is to remember it's not the destination. And, we have this natural impatience I want it to be happening faster. And we know, the quote, don't know if it's Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn or whoever has said it, but, we overestimate what we can do in a short time. Be that a year, be that a month, 90 days, 6 months, whatever. But we really underestimate the 5-10-year plan. And one of the most impactful gifts I was given in my early journey was a 5-year business journal. And I have been writing every day in my business journey for these 5 years. And we were talking about whether it would ever be valuable as a diary of where did it all begin? And I remind myself to check in and have faith that just because I don't see it happening doesn't mean that it's not in the God's plan that it will. And stop trying to orchestrate it and package it and make it in my timeline. My goal is to be non-negotiable in movement, because movement's what builds the momentum. And so I take reminders and set goals for myself of how will I go play? So I take CEO days. I don't work from morning till night. I build the life I want. And when I have an opportunity to work with somebody who's awesome, it's by invitation only. So you can't land on a $9 something and be mentored by me. I hate that model. It's a conversation. It has to be lit. It has to be right. I have to believe in your dream because I will be asked to hold it. And then be around people who say, just because you can't see it yet, Christine, doesn't mean I don't see the potential happening. Stay the course and have faith that the most important word is it's not happened yet. Mm-hmm. Yet. So how can you make the most of that time? And it's really been about celebrating, playing, treating myself to thinking time, and I call them CEO days. And it's also a really big part of grace. You've got to give yourself more grace and be around people who will remind you that you are in contact with grace and you have everything you need to be successful, because if you simply be human. And I know, Andrea, you mentioned that earlier. I am on such a rant right now about in the world of AI, please be human. Human is what will grow your business. And you can't automate the fact that right now more than ever, we need intimacy. So how do I gift myself that? How do I gift that to other people? And how can I show grace and have faith that the impact is there? Because I don't see, clients don't engage with me. They sit on the sidelines until they show up and say, I think I need to hire you. And I'm like, who are you? I call them the unicorns. The unicorns are in my field quite a lot. But it comes down to just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not moving. My goal is not, do I show up today? It's have the faith, see the vision, give yourself the mental pep talk, and show up in service of something else bigger than you, because you are here on the planet for some greater purpose. To me, and I know it and I feel it when I'm talking to business owners, I want you to create your dream, the life you want, not just the business. How do you show up as that? So that's what really lights me.
Love that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I just love y'all. Okay.
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach than Andrea. I love everything that Andrea and Christine said. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. And I'm going to come back to something you said, Tiara, earlier about, entrepreneurs maybe tending to work too much. So I'll be the first to admit, I work every day of the week. I'll do even an hour on the weekend, more on the weekends. On vacation, I'll do an hour. But here's where I'm coming from, and here's how I work with my clients. So I'm all about health. I'm all about long-term health, right? I'm not talking, let's lose 50 pounds by the end of the year or 20 pounds for my friend's wedding or anything like that. I'm talking 30, 40, 50, 60 years in the future. So long-term. So my clients, when we talk about health, it's not about a 9 to 5. It's not about a Monday to Friday. This is about all day, every day for the next 50 years.
Right.
So I take, again, even though I work, get up early, I start work, and sometimes I'm working late. It's kind of getting late here, and I'll probably do a little bit after dinner as well. And that's my practice, and that's not going to be everyone's work practice because they have different businesses. But the point of bringing this all together to your original question, Erica, is I make time for myself throughout the day, every day, and that's a non-negotiable. I take 2 to 2.5 hours split up throughout different parts of the day for my self-care. So for me, that means I meditate while I sit in the sauna in the evenings. I make healthy meals. I cook almost all my own food, and I prepare that. I do my exercise. I do my stretching. I have overcome a back injury, so I have to stretch every day. Otherwise, I'm not my best. But the point being is that if I'm not my best, I can't be the best husband. I can't be the best father. I can't be the best coach for you. I can't be the best son. I can't be the best neighbor, all of that. And that's what I try and instill also in my clients, regardless of what their job is, what their business is, what level they are, if they're the CEO or they're middle management or they're retired already. Is you're trying to build long-term habits. Again, I'm coming from the health perspective. So that's something that you can carry beyond, this is not a 21-day reset to something. I'm talking decades of health for people, long-term. So building those habits in now for them, and you got to make these incremental changes. They got to invest in themselves daily, multiple times a day, and I try and show that through them by being my own example, which also came up, I think Andrea mentioned earlier. Be your own, or maybe it was Christine, in your own business. So I walk my own talk as well. Not everyone has to do what I do, but I'll guide you along the way. But again, this is 24/7, 365 for the next 50 or 60 years. So that's kind of the approach I take. So hopefully that can answer the question in a little bit of a different way.
Yes, I definitely understand that. So I do positive intelligence. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but we take breaks every 2 hours, I believe, to make sure that you are coming and centering yourself. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with doing it throughout the day. Thank you so much, you all, for answering the questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, like some knowledge that you wanted possibly to share to entrepreneurs as we are closing our time?
Well, I think that remember that failure is not an option. You will have blips in the road and something may not work out the way that you want it to, but pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again. You're going to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. I was on a call with someone earlier today who started her business 5 months ago. I don't know if this is right for me. And are you happy? Are you achieving things? Are you taking the steps to secure more clients? Yeah, but it's not happening fast enough. You're in business 5 months. It takes time. So don't give up on yourself. But that life-work balance for an entrepreneur is so important. And I put life first. For so many years when I worked for other people, work came first. And I worked pretty much 24/7, missed a college orientation for my daughter. Weddings, I was the one in the hallway on my phone. At the beach, I was the one working on the beach. The people on the beach were screaming at me, "Lady, we're on vacation, go somewhere else." Don't discount your life-work balance. That's the most important thing, but don't give up and turn to people that you meet. And I look forward after this call to have a one-on-one, with all of you so we can get to know each other better, because we can be a support system or a referral or something for each other. So because you brought us together, Erica, you've now created something that hopefully will continue with relationships.
Definitely.
I'll-
That's one of the things that I want to do is make sure that we make friends, not network, because you'll network, pass your card and information and never do anything with it. We're here to make friends. And so everybody's going to get everybody's emails and ways to contact each other and continue communicating and interacting with each other. And even the people who are here that were Kane, Brittany, Lisa, and Dr. Finch, I would love for you to come off in just a minute and tell us about who you are and engage with the panelists. So let's have Christine and then Deepak go ahead and tell us some pearls of wisdom that you want to share to entrepreneurs.
Mine is a really simple one, and it is, don't let the world of business make it complicated. It is really simple. And honestly, I will tell you the clue right now. This is the most valuable piece of business advice I can give you. Only two things. Only two. Predict your revenue. How many people you're meeting and making relationships with, and how many offers you're making. Because those two things are what will predict your revenue. And so I think so much bad advice and distraction is out there. And I said, dial in your focus. Everything else is distraction. The simplest way to get out of overwhelm, why are you doing it? What's non-negotiable? Close the door and remember two things, predict your revenue. If you can spend 1 hour a day focusing on that and do it consistently and stay in movement, your business will boom. It may take time. I said, you choose your speed. I tell my clients this all the time. You choose your speed. Some seasons we are Mach 10 with hair on fire. Other seasons, it's like, to Andrea's point, I have parents that are aging. My life gets disrupted quite often because of disrupting aging parents. But you know what? I have the life I want, because this morning while I was 3 hours away, I had a podcast that released and somebody booked to become a client as a result of it. Build the business, focusing on the elegant simplicity of it. It's simpler than you think. It is not effortless, but focus the effort, choose your speed, and play in the journey. You get to create the life you want.
All right. Okay. I love that, Deepak.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on things that both Andrea and Christine said. So it can be effortless, absolutely, but also it's work. It's not like I'm going to put my, shingle on the door and all of a sudden I have clients like that. It takes effort. It's hard work. There's ups and downs. We talked about this already. I love that Christine said about, she said in a bit of a different way, but basically take a step back once in a while. Maybe it's an hour a day, maybe it's 1 day a month or whatever, but you need planning. You need to thinking time. Where are you going? Not the immediate, the fires you need to put out. How am I going to make payroll or cash flow or whatever? But where am I going the next 6 months, the next year, the next 3 years? My business coach has us plan 3 years out at a time. And that's what we do. So for the next 3 years, I roughly, things will change and ebb and flow, and there's flexibility for that. But I have a rough idea of what I'm doing for the next 3 years. So, but that you can only do that when you actually take the time to plan. So I guess my nuggets is it's going to be harder than you think, but not impossible. You got to put the effort in and take time for yourself, for your self-care, as I mentioned in the last question, and take time to think about your business, strategically think about your business and where you're going. And maybe that even means who you want to network, who you want to meet with, the relationships that you want to build, etc. So I think it's a nice bow to tie up what everyone said.
Yes, I believe that's very much a great bow. Okay, so now, Tiara, did you want to mention anything before we move on?
Absolutely. I just want to say, I really do see light coming from all three of y'all. It's just light. That's the best way that I can explain it. And I love the energy that y'all are bringing to this panelist discussion. And I really do want to take on some of the advice that you guys have given, having that life work balance. And really just taking the time to have the mentors and take time to develop my skills and things of that nature. I really do appreciate that.
Yes, I love the part where they said, ask for help, You got to ask for help, and you have to ask for the right fit. That's what I always say, the right fit individuals for you specifically. Try on things and move around. Deepak said that he had a couple people and then he got who he needed. So
Right.
a lot of people don't shop. I mean, we should be a consumer all the time in individuals that we interact with to see what's the best fit for us. So I would love now for Brittany, for you to tell us about yourself a little bit, your little pitch and what's going on with you. And then we're going to do Lisa, Dr. Finch, and then I would like all of the panelists as well. And we'll close it out with me just doing it, and then we'll end our time together.
Thank you, Erica. I'm Brittany Jones, and I am the owner of BizStorming. I am a positive, knowledgeable, supportive master of creation. And my soulmate client is a rock star entrepreneur or business owner who may be sitting stagnant or wanting change or just starting out. So I really help people create drive, direction, drive, and focus and support. I support them in where they're going and how they get there, and really doing it in a way that they want to and not the quote unquote need to do this. So I work really hard in that, and I just launched my first package, which is a 90-day program. So it's a 90-day program, 2 hours a week, and then there's a short version of that, which is you pay for me to come to you. And it's a 5-day, 4-hour-a-day program. So I'm excited to really help people with their accountability and just getting going where they need to be. I'm excited.
Thank you, Brittany. Okay, well, Lisa left. Okay, Dr. Finch, if you can, if you want to come on screen or let us know about what's going on with you. Dr. Finch is my mentor. So, and she will be coming in July talking about the multifaceted entrepreneur. She's been doing a workshop on that. So, are you available to speak, Dr. Finch? If not, we can move on to our panelist.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Akina Finch. I am excited to hear each and every one of you. It was a great discussion. I love the passion that you had about your businesses, and it was very encouraging to start up businesses for sure. And so I wanted to just say thank you so much for that. I am a certified coach, speaker, trainer, a lot of those types of things. And so I resonated with a lot of what you were saying because, been on the journey, and you hit some very important points with that. As far as me per se, working on a few diversity projects, podcasting and things of that nature right now. And also working on a couple of workshops and a coaching program. So that's what I'm working on right now. So thank you so much. And I look forward to hearing all the things you're working on as well.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I would like to do the order. Deepak, Christine, and Andrea, if you all give us, how people can reach you and interact with you and any ask or offers that you have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So on my website, deepaksanihealth.com/freebie, I have a free guide. It helps people, build some healthy habits for their longevity. So that's something free anyone can download. I'm all over the social media, Saini Health, Deepak Saini Health, all those sorts of things, all those permutations. So pretty easy to find. I'm excited. I got a couple things on the go. So I'm going to go with the things that's the furthest out to the most current one. So probably in 24, I already have the frameworks done. So I'll probably be releasing 2 books in 24. December of 23, so upcoming here, I'm running my first summit. So it'll be a 3-day summit on what my niche is, reversing the effects of aging, and I hope to have a number of speakers. So that's just the starting preliminary planning stages. I'm launching a podcast here this month, so that's just in the final works, and just going to batch record them and release them throughout. Talking to it's not strictly to health. It's just about leaders and people who have powerful messages, whatever their field may be. So I'm sure there's some of you as well who I'll tap at some point to be a guest on my podcast. And then the most current thing is I do run a series of workshops a couple times a year that leads to my group coaching program, and that's coming up here in beginning of next week in June. Those series of workshops, so people can contact me if they were interested in that as well. So that's kind of what I'm working on, and always open to support, and always open to support others as well. So please feel free to reach out to me if there's any way I can support any of you in anything that you guys are doing as well.
Thank you so much, Christine.
So for me, it's really about helping people with the foundations. I said, my philosophy and truth, honestly, in every fiber of my being, business is elegantly simple. So I work with people on three things. I help people figure out how to build an audience of buyers. How do you get people actually moving? And how do you get them interested in seeing the value and the result you want to guide them to achieve consistently and predictably? So I always tell people, you get to build confidence, become the must hire, and build the business and life of your dreams. So I help people do that. There's a couple of free resources I want to offer you. So if you need a roadmap of how to actually create this without working yourself into the ground, come to my free event. I run an event called How to Scale and Attract High-Paying Clients Consistently Without Complicated Tech, because I don't think it needs to be complicated. And I run that. It's a free 1-hour event. And you can find dates on my website, ChristineCampbellRapin.com. And I run a podcast. I'm a big speaker, but the podcast is about mastering your messaging. So if you want to amplify your marketing message and get in front of more people to create more impact, create more ripples, to find the connecting pieces, you need to listen, subscribe, and get connected. I will echo Deepak's comments. If I can open a door, if I can connect you to a room, if I can help you hold faith in a wobbly moment, it would be my absolute pleasure to do that. Let's connect. You can find me, come to the website. You'll find all my social media there. Subscribe to the podcast. And I'd love to see you in a room I'm in so I can support you on your path. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, awesome. Andrea.
This has been wonderful, and I appreciate being with such creative, intelligent, giving panelists as well. And I look forward to connect with others who are looking to spread the word, because that's what I'm all about, spreading the word using a press model to do so. In public relations, it's about earned media coverage, not paid media coverage. That's advertising. I'm all about earned media coverage that is, in essence, third-party editorial endorsement for your business, your book, your product, your nonprofit. So I'm always looking to connect. I represent a lot of authors. Deepak, I'll have to talk, and getting press for authors. I love working on nonfiction, but I do also do fiction. But people who have consumer products and entrepreneurs that have different services in a wide range of categories, from health and wellness to fitness to beauty to technology. Really someone who is an entrepreneur and has it in their heart, because I like to work with people who feel it and have it in their heart, because I have it in my heart. And I invite people to schedule some time with me on AndreaPassPR.com. I have an appointments tab, or follow me on LinkedIn. And feel free to come to my free Access Success Networking group, which meets every the third Thursday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And it is open to anyone who'd like to attend. So let me know, and I'll make sure I get you a link. Our next meeting is June 15th. We're talking about relieving stress. So thank you so much for having me.
Tiara.
Yes, and I am the owner of T. Briscoe Consulting, where we provide bookkeeping and consulting services. And as you mentioned, Andrea, earlier, sometimes, a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we try to do everything on our own. But what I would like to do is step in and help entrepreneurs and business owners out by alleviating the stress of handling your finances. So I step in and I run and take over the financial portion of your business, and I call it the heartbeat. So everybody else can focus on operations. And I'm actually going to put my information in the chat. So if anyone would like to reach out to me, it's there. And I also put my booking link because you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation with me to see if we would be a perfect fit.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. If you put your information in the chat while I'm saying this, I will make sure that you get all of the contact information from the chat in an email. And as we end, I will end. Erica Kessie, I'm a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life. I am a business leader and also the leader's healer. In doing that, it's so important that we do no harm as leaders, you all, right? So we must be healthy ourselves. And I am right now focusing on business leaders who have entrepreneur communities. If you're working with entrepreneurs, I would love to speak with you, talk with you, and give you a freebie. You can go to bit.ly/5-tip-5. I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to grow successful entrepreneurs and nurture them. Okay, everybody, I'll make sure that you all get the information in the chats. And if there's nothing else, thank you so much for your time and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Much love to everyone.
Thank you so much for coming.